What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles here, and today I have a new deck profile for you guys. So today I'm going to be talking about Red Ruthless Hercule, an MP that obviously you don't really see much play because it's been overshadowed by Goku and Roshi, but for good reason. But definitely an MP I really like to tinker with and have fun with. If you ever want to try and spend money into this deck, I would probably recommend playing Unleash. I'm not playing it in my build just because, again, I want to kind of make like a nice budget build for those who don't have the cash flow to really dish out on Unleashes. The only expensive card that is in here is Spheres, and um, pretty much it. Also Heroic Dash Punches, but I'm not sure how much they are now. I'm not sure if they really like skyrocketed, but it's pretty affordable. So if you ever want to just play it, it's a like anger slash like beatdown build. So we'll get right into it. So first up, we have two heroic dashing punches. If I can play three of this card, I would. This card is just amazing. It's just really good. Just a good tempo card all around, just to swing things in your favor. You just have force your opponent to skip. It's card where it's like, okay, if you block it, fine. I'm going to throw this like other attack at you. Granted, if you are at least level two Hercule, it's actually going to do some damage as opposed to the level one where your stuff can't be modified. But I like it for several reasons. One, raise anger, so it'll help you towards getting a level two or angering out. Two, it allows you to if it hits, your opponent can't gain anger. So even though you have the mastery where all your physical attacks, if they hit, lower anger one, sometimes it's just not enough. So this card can really be a blowout against certain decks, or at least for that combat to really kind of push forward and not worry about the anger. So if they're like, let's say 4 anger, and you connect with the dash and punch, and then you start leading off with some other physical attacks. You can just lower them down to 0. So it's a good way to really keep anger in check. And then again, I said the flash stages, but I really like the banishment effect. Um, Not a lot of people like it just because it banishes your own stuff, but in Ruthless is actually really good because um, the best card that's either on top of your discard pile or in your hand is always going to just stay there unless your opponent uses some kind of mill effect. So what I mean by that is if you use a dash and punch, your opponent skips, damage is banished. And let's say if you use like red right cross, where you gain 2 anger but it costs 4 stages. Now that sits on top of your discard pile. So if your opponent doesn't have any like banishment removal, any damage that you take, the damage is going to be banished. So that card's just going to sit on top there. Even if they do like Dev Blow or something like that, whatever card that you use from your hand, is just going to sit on top of the discard pile because any damage is going to be banished. So you can always use that card that you have, again, the most relevant card that's on your discard pile, um, and play it for the mastery. So it just allows for. Sorry, my nose is just really itchy right now. I don't know why. Um, but it really just allows for you to just play the best card that's in your hand at the time and use it again because you play it, sits on top of the discard pile. Your opponent does any damage. You just get to banish all the damage because of dash and punch ability, and then you get to use the mastery. So it's pretty cool. Next up, we have 3 Devastating Blow. Dev Blow is really cool because the utility, obviously, it's not going to put out any damage, but just being able to keep anger in check and just to have the immediate effect to gain anger, which is always helpful. A lot of the red stuff, with the mastery, has to be hit to lower your opponent's anger. So just to be able to lower anger on a pinch is always clutch, and raise your anger one. So again, it really aids toward trying to get off one. Next up, we have 3 Hercule's Dynamite Kick. Again, really good card. It really puts your opponent in like an awkward position because you can get multiple uses out of the card. So when you play it once, the opponent might maybe do something. You play it again, they're gonna be like, okay, pass, and then that could also you can just pass as well. Sometimes it's a good way to bait your opponent. Um, if you feel like they might have something after your dynamite kicks, after you use them all up, it just allows you to just use it maybe like twice or 3 times, and then when they pass, thinking that you might use it a fourth time, you just pass as well. So that way you don't have to worry about um, whatever your opponent does. So it's a good way just to put your opponent in like an awkward spot, and you're going to be taking the damage, and it helps you gain stages, which is always key because you'll see it really triggers a lot of the card effects that you'll see in this deck. Uh, Sorry, my nose is just crazy itchy. I don't know why. It's so annoying. It really is. Um, Next up, what we have is 1 Red Jab. So Red Jab, again, a card I like just because of personal preference. Being able to have an on crit right away, like crit on demand, is always good. Uh, even though you have a lot of ways to crit, which can like shoulder grab and dynamite kick or red driving knee if that hits. I just like to be able to, if I'm in a pinch, being able to just crit my opponent. And if it hits, it could also lower anger. So if I'm going against an anger deck, I can go, okay, lower your anger. If it hits, lower your anger again because of the mastery. So it allows for all that kind of interactions. And I just play one just because you know, I have like the red driving knees pretty much for the anger, and also the crit effect if it hits. Also, a cool thing about red jab is you can pay 3 stages and make the damage unpreventable. So even though it doesn't seem like much, um, at the same time, with Hercule are gaining stages, so it doesn't really hurt you in that regard. So it's like, what's this thing about Hercule? He's like really annoying. Like all this like chip damage here and there. It's like just very pesky. You know, I want someone to make a counter of how many times I like scratch my nose, like a nose count. It's just, again, I apologize for it. It's just super itchy for some reason. Um, Next up, we have 2 red powerful strikes. So again, this card I like a lot because again, flat stages. I might try and bump it up to 3. Um, and a lot of the anger 2 cards I have in here, they don't really meet any crazy criteria to gain 2 anger. It's just like for example, like this card, if you play an attack from your discard pile, you gain 2 anger. So you just use your mastery, you gain 2 anger. It's pretty good. Also, it has a hit effect where if your MP is hero, which you're playing Hercule, has a hit effect where your next style attack gains your raise your anger 1. So it's another way to really just kind of ramp up to um, get off 1 or just trying to anger out or something like that. So I really might try and play it at again 3 because also the flat stages, which is more so helpful because with Hercule 1, you don't really want to be stuck on there too long. Next up, we have 3 red driving knee. So red driving knee is again a card where uh, I had 2 of those, and then I had 2 red jab, but I figured driving knee gives me an anger, and being able to gain stages with Hercule 1 and Dynamite Kick. If it hits, I can gain another anger and use a critical damage effect. So I kind of gave up the auto crit for something that can kind of give me anger and potentially crit as well. So it's not a bad card at all because it's so easy to kind of meet the conditions if it hits. Next up, we have 3 red double strike. So double strike, again, another gain 2 anger card. If it hits, you can lower your opponent's anger too. So it's always good in that regard. It gets really beefy and really annoying when you get to the higher stages of Hercule. So it's free, just 2, and get to reuse it again with the mastery if your opponent doesn't disrupt anything. So it's always helpful in that aspect. Next up, we have 3 red right cross. So red right cross again. It costs 4 stages, raise your anger 2, but you're playing Hercule, so you're gaining the stages from your level 1 power or the Dynamite Kick. So it's not a bad setback at all. It's just another raise 2 anger card. And it's free if you have 3 anger. You go from go up a level because of it. Um, Next up, we have 3 red shoulder grab. This card's amazing with Dynamite Kick. So you're going against ball decks or something like that. You can just do 4 crit damage effects. 5 if you use the power to get the Dynamite Kick. So excuse me. Probably that's why, because I probably have a cold or something coming on. But shoulder grab again, being able to have multiple uses because of the Dynamite Kick interaction. So you use a shoulder grab and then use Dynamite Kick and get rid of Wall Breaker, Black Capture if it sticks on you, stuff like that. And it's good because the interaction with Dynamite Kick and shoulder grab, it allows you to get rid of allies, Dragon Balls, or whatever the case may be. So, if your opponent has some kind of anger, some kind of Dragon Ball here and there, some kind of allies, it lets you pick and choose which kind of crit damage effect you want to use. So I like it a lot. Uh, Next up, we have 3 red pound. Again, another raise 2 anger card, but all you have to do is gain stages, but you're playing Hercule, so it's really easy to do. And it has flat stages, flat 8. It can't be modified, which is who cares because it's 8. That's a lot. And just being able to raise 2 anger just because you're playing Hercule pretty much. It's amazing. So we max out on those. 3 red power lift. I might cut it down to 2, but I just like 3 because of the endurance, the being able to just soak up a physical attack pretty much without having to drain your stages because Hercule's an A. for the entire game. So one physical attack can really hurt you a lot. And even though you can gain stages because of the power and the dynamite kicks, you still don't want to be obviously too low, because you want to try and conserve as much life as possible. So it's never a bad thing for sure, especially against like Ruthless Goku or something like that, where they're doing like a million things. It can really be helpful in that regard. So I'm probably just going to keep it at 3. Next up, we have 3 Red Tandem Attack. Again, this is a card I like personally, pretty much because if I'm going against Goku, or decks that use like VTP or relaxation, or anything that they get the hand advantage, or now that Smoothness Drill is at 3, just being able to lead in and not really fear on like a card down. I can just be kind of bold and just enter and just kind of go for it. So it's another reason why I play 3, and also the endurance. So the dex, I think, only has about like 30 something endurance. So I really want to just have a lot of good cards that have endurance and kind of maximize on that as possible. And then we have 3 Red Mule Kick. So again, it's just good removal. We don't really have much attached card removal in this game, which I do think we need more, especially if you're going to make a lot of attached cards without like a banishment clause or something like that. I really think it's necessary to have more cards that can interact with attached cards, because they just become like floating effects that, I would say floating effects, but just continuous effects that just stay there, and um, a lot of them are really good, and it's like you can't really do much about it. So it's just another way to have interaction, which I think we need. If we have drills, we have drill removal. If we have setups, we have setup removal. If we have balls, we have ways to capture them. Allies, we have ways to get rid of them. Pretty much like if you're introducing something new, you should always have like multiple ways to get rid of it. But right now we don't really have the card pool, and only red is probably like one of the only styles that really have like access to get rid of attached cards like that. So Mule Kick is definitely an amazing card. So endurance and anger as well. So it's good all around. Now for blocks, 3 red blocking hand, the best physical block in the game. For red, it's just too good. Self-explanatory. It lets you gain stages again, so another way to trigger off all your stuff, and raises anger too, so another way to just kind of ramp up. 3 red resourceful block. So I like resourceful block because if you're like, let's say like level 3, or even like level 2 Hercule, you can go down to 1 and then use the effect again, or 3 go down to 2, use the effect. So it lets you use it like the dynamite kicks, and the endurance again is always helpful, because again this deck doesn't have much endurance. For the other blocks we have for energies, we have 3 red escape. So again, the same reason why we're playing resourceful block, to kind of jump levels. Same reason why we're playing escape. So if you're like level 1, you get to go to 2, get the other dynamite kick or something like that, or from 2 to 3 to start doing massive damage if you have a dynamite kick in hand. So if you go like Hercule 2 dynamite kick, and then they throw an energy attack at you, level up to 3, and then use dynamite kick to pretty much level up to 4. You have a lot of cool interactions and things like that. So again, if I could only run Trailing Blast, that would be amazing, but obviously we can't. But again, another way to just kind of like get off the levels that you might need to just kind of change up your game plan mid combat is always a awesome thing with me. And then for the last energy blocks that we have 3 red stop. Um, Again, I like this card. You could probably play red defensive stance over just for the anger. I just like it because, again, dynamite kick. Against the engine, it's searchable on 1 and 2. So if you ever have it, you can another way to just get a crit, because the dynamite kick can't be stopped. So I'm pretty sure red hop says that your next attack. I don't think it's styled restricted. I'm pretty sure, yeah, your next attack. So good synergy there with Dynamite Kick, so being able to get a free crit is always good. And then for events, we have 1 time staple, um, 2 sphere. Again, I play 2 because um, for certain cards, like Unleashed being one of them, like the main culprit. Your confros and stuff like that. It's just a good reactive card to have. So I'm just playing 2 right now, and 3 confront, just because this deck can be super aggressive. And certain combats, he's kind of want to like string along and kind of stay in combat. So 3 confronts just to disrupt the hand, especially against like Goku, where they have so much hand advantage. It's crazy. So we want a way to kind of disrupt that. Next up is red stop. So omni block. You can't really have enough defense really in this deck. And it's good because it banishes after you. So if you have a good attack on a discard pile, it allows you just to kind of reuse that. So it's, for me, it's pretty much a staple. And then for setups, we have 3 Red Relaxation. I play this over VTP because it's styled. So worst case scenario, you can just always put at the bottom of your deck to reuse, hopefully again for later. Gain stages, crit outside of combat. So it's just a good card all around. So we just maximize on those. It's probably my favorite red setup in the game. And last but not least, Earth Dragon Ball 7. I play Earth Dragon Ball 7 because we don't have access to binding, so I want still a way to kind of like end combat if possible. Especially if you going against a Goku with like a 10-card hand, just being able to just end combat can really be very helpful. So I would recommend. I'm surprised more Gokus aren't playing Stomach Crusher. I don't know why. Because you have such a huge hand and you kind of really want to extend that combat. And with everyone playing like Trunks with shoulder slam, trunk slam, sorry, blinding, uh, obviously Black Power, Earth Dragon Ball 7, a lot of ways to just kind of like get out of combat. Uh, I would suggest Goku players just play, Stomach Crusher. I really think we should see more play in Goku decks because you want to be aggressive. You lead them with the Stomach Crusher, and then you can just try and OTK your opponent. So, but yeah, this is pretty much the deck that I kind of whipped up. It's just the first version, so I bet there's always more tweaks to kind of be made. But I just like the fact that you can gain anger fairly quickly, and the conditions aren't hard to meet because of it. So I wish that he can use energies, but we can't, so you just got to make do. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Hercule is just a playable MP at all? Do you think his home is maybe an orange retribution where you can kind of have the mastery gain 2 anger on the stick? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Don't forget to give this a like and a thumbs up. So let me know what you guys think. And until next time, Z Warriors, Mr. Waffles out.